Hello race fans, welcome to the final round of the 2018 AARO AMP Energy Racing Series season. Back where it started here at Livonia. We're going to be doing this one a little bit different. Obviously the intro to this one, starting right off the bat, you'll see the DNQ list here in just a moment. Starting with Landy Heath in the 7 car for Silver Green Racing. Grant Jacobs has had an awful run of luck in that 8 car since he got swapped out for Sarator, and kind of makes you wonder what is coming for Grant Jacobs in the offseason. And for 2019, Ray Davis misses in the 14 car again. Casey Anderson in the 38, a 5th entry for ACS Racing this week. And Nate Smith seemed adamant that there were going to be no team orders with that 38 car, but unfortunately, Casey Anderson, in his comeback from his horrific wreck at Miami a few years ago, unfortunately does not make the event. Tobias Newbridge in the 41, making it another race where both Calamicom Incorporated cars failed to qualify for the show, and what has been a miserable season for them. Ross Lowry in the 44, Guy Bounier in the 62, David Hugar in the 77. So that makes 2 of the 3 Carson Racing cars out. Jimmy Cohone made it in, thankfully, but this has been a season to forget for Carson Racing for sure. And Jack Walter and Florent Vachon both failed to qualify for the event as well. But more importantly, let's take a look at the championship standings coming into this weekend. Carson CROMPTON, 1,915 points, 67 over Michael Carter, defending series champion, looking to repeat in the 39 machine. JN Motorsports' only hope. Tyler Deefer has surged in recent weeks and reasserted himself as a championship favorite, 85 markers back. Kane Dwyer in the 10 car in his rookie year, still winless, 96 points behind CROMPTON. So those 3 are somewhat within striking distance, especially if the 84 has a really poor run. And Tommy Richer, 182 markers back, 197, I believe, is the most amount of points that you can gain in a single weekend. CROMPTON will gain, I believe, 16 points just by starting the event. So Tommy Richer cannot win the title by more than 15 points, and he will need everything to go right, absolutely everything. He's going to effectively need the 84, 39, 20, and 10, all to have rather poor runs this weekend. But we have seen crazier things in what has been a very chaotic 2018 season. And now on to the main event to wrap everything up. This is the finale for the 2018 AARO AMP Energy Racing Series. Here, the AMP Energy Finale 200 at where it all started, the Livonia Speedway in Livonia, Michigan. The AAA Pole Award for the final time this season goes to Casey Lester in car number 87. With Zach McCrae to his outside, green flag is in the air for the last time. Underway, Lester off to a rocket start, and it looks like Chad Lipinski is going to get a nose underneath the 5 of McCrae as well. Jimmy Cohone starting in the 5th spot as well. He's up to 4th now, but a rather superb qualifying effort by that 33 team and the Carson Racing bunch. Jonathan Ringer fighting side by side with him, Kane Dwyer, and a few others jostling for positions as well as Lester leads the first lap. Cody Lochner, however, on lap number 2 is going to have his engine expire through turns 1 and 2. Oh, contact with Jack Jefferson and Frankie Stewart right there. Stewart making his AMP Energy Racing Series debut. He's replacing Keith Davis in the 06 car this week. And Cody Lochner, unfortunately, not going to make it back to the pits. His car dies on him in turn 3. He's going to have a tow truck come out and push him around to the garage area, but his day is unfortunately done. There's the contact with Stewart. A rather rough introduction to the AMP Energy Racing Series for him. Not exactly sure what his future holds. KDM as a whole, their future is rather uncertain, so more silly season news will have to follow on that. But Frankie Stewart not off to a great start. Tyler Deefer in the 20 car has been making his way through the field in a rapid clip. Here he goes underneath the 10 of Kane Dwyer to get himself up into the top 5. Aaron Anderson just in front of him. But Tyler Deefer, you can honestly refer to this team as the cockroach because they just will not go away. He's up to 3rd now on lap number 8. Coming to take lap number 9. Here he goes underneath Zach McCrae, trying to make a move. Can't quite make it happen just yet. McCrae all over the back bumper. Lester through 3 and 4. He gets underneath McCrae, and he's going to take the 2nd spot. Lap number 10. Deefer wants more. He wants the lead under his teammate. Can't quite get there yet. But Tyler Deefer with an incredible surge early on. He is wasting no time at all getting up to the front of this field. And here we see through turns 3 and 4 on board with him as he's going to go to the top of the charts and get himself some bonus points, some ever important bonus points in this championship fight. Tyler Deefer on fire the past 5 or 6 races or so. Kane Dwyer in the 3rd spot. Contact there with Sean GLOSSUM, but Dwyer finds himself up in 3rd. And all throughout the weekend, he's just been lurking around the top 5, top 10, as he's done pretty much most of the season, barring any wrecks that he's gotten in as he gets shuffled out of line here. But Kane Dwyer has relied heavily on consistency to get himself in such a good position in the championship. Caution lights are on. Contact between James Rodan and Darcy Lusk. Puts Lusk into the wall. He saved it for a moment, but came back down into the 31, and the 22 spins out to draw the first caution here on lap number 14. So we'll take another look at this. It looks like Rodan just gets a little over-exuberant there, gets into the rear quarter panel of the 22. They have it saved there, but the 22 glances off the wall and back down into the 31 of Rodan. Ricky Green in the 03 got a little piece of that as well. Doesn't look like there's too much damage, too much major damage anyway, as we would have most, I believe all of the leaders coming in to get pit service done. Tyler Deefer's going to lead them out. Lester second, along with the rest of the field here. However, there would be a few penalties, a few drivers a little too fast on the exit of their pit road, on the exit of their pit stops rather. Tyler Deefer being one of them, Clyde Lattinger another, and Nicholas Hierski in the 23, along with Jalen Scransen right there serving his. So tough breaks for all of them, but you always have to be aware of the speed that you're traveling on pit road, as Casey Lester leading Sean GLOSSUM and co. back to the restart here on lap 20. And Lester, outside of the title contention, obviously the 2 races that he missed due to injury really hurt his chances. And Sean GLOSSUM has run strong at points, but including right now, obviously, but GLOSSUM's just had a little bit too much inconsistency that's thrown his season off. And we mentioned how Kane Dwyer has remained mostly in this fight due to consistency. Obviously rings true here, as he's hanging back inside the top 10. But Sean GLOSSUM, despite all the strong runs that he's had, not quite up to snuff in terms of the points contention. Carson Crompton, the points leader, moves up to 2nd place underneath Jean Sarator right there, the 40 car having a good run. Tyler Deefer now underneath Chad Lipinski in the 88 car, moving his way through the field after taking that penalty, and just trying to claw his way forward, trying to get himself back up to the front of the field. This team finding ways to work through the adversity, whatever gets thrown at them, as Zach McCrae just behind Sean GLOSSUM. They're trying to make a move. Lester and Dwyer with a little bit of close quarters there out of turn number 4. Looks like they hang on to it, though. Nate Smith just in front of them. This is a battle inside the top 10. As we've got, contact between Sarator and Juveno. That's going to send Barry Juveno up into the wall, and I'm sure he's not going to be very pleased about that one. Juveno kind of known to have a short fuse when it comes to contact with other drivers. And we'll have to take a look at what happened there. Oh, Jerry Richardson perhaps got into the 40. Oh, at turn number 4, they make contact. That sends Sarator into the 88, and then Sarator and Juveno made contact. I think the 40 and Lipinski got together there as well. But Juveno nonetheless not too happy with Sarator. Keith Jesse laying on the left rear quarter panel of Casey Lester. He gets turned into Kent Gross. A big contact there. Caution number 2, lap 33. Luke Kinzen, Ike Durbin, and Barry Juveno all pile into that one. And Juveno's trying to get his car going. Ricky Green hammers into Nicholas Hierski. James Rodan's involved as well. Take a look at this one. The track just kind of clogs up right there. Bo Phillips gets a little piece of that. Juveno's trying to get his car going again. Hierski was trying to get away from that one, and he ran into Juveno, and then just everyone else was coming at the same time, trying to get by on the outside. We'll see Hierski there. He had nowhere to go on the bottom. Then Ricky Green's going to hammer into him as he was just trying to drive away. There's James Rodan. His day is finally done. Darcy Lusk got in there as well in the 22 machine. And as all of that was going on, Keith Jesse getting called to the hauler for that. Zach McCrae in the 5 car beats the rest of the field to the line. Kane Dwyer trying to make it a Skulls 1-2 back to the start-finish line, but not meant to be, I suppose. And speaking of Kane Dwyer, he would take right side tires only on the stop, as would Nate Smith and Sean GLOSSUM in the 27. Carson Crompton in the 84, and that 84 team had a rather poor stop. He would come out of the pits in 28th. Michael Carter would restart in the 13th, while Tyler Deefer in the 20 would restart in the 7th position, as Kane Dwyer, their points rival, would lead the field as he obviously beat everybody out of the pits. To the restart, Nate Smith and SHAWN, a pair of Toyotas just behind him, and Jordan Tipson in that 18 car, a rather quiet run for the TGI Friday Chevrolet. He restarted in 4th. CROMPTON in the 84 trying to gain some ground. Ends up getting stuck on the outside behind Pat McKenzie in the 82. His rookie year obviously not going the way that he would hope, as Chris Morissette and Jean Sarator, another pair of rookies, trying to go underneath the 84 for position. As Sean GLOSSUM in the 27 peeks his nose underneath of Dwyer and goes through on the inside. Tipson all over the back bumper of the 27 now, trying to get the lead for himself. Doesn't quite look to happen just yet, as Zach McRae moves underneath of Tipson to take second here on lap 45, and Tyler Deefer now up to 3rd in this 20 car. As I mentioned, this team is a cockroach. They will not die. They will not go away. And this 20 team, as resilient as they've been, you would expect just that some sort of break doesn't go their way, but they managed to claw their way back. Michael Carter now up to 6th, and he would improve a few spots as Casey Lester ends up holding up the outside lane here. And I mean, if he were to try and go outside and make it 3 wide, if you hit the wall and bounce back down into people, you cause a wreck. Contact between Jerry Richardson, Ryan Barley, and Clyde Lattinger is going to send the 80-34 and the 06 of poor Frankie Stewart into the wall. Caution number 3 here on lap number 50. I have to take a look at that one again. But as the stack up, it looks like is what caused all that. Jerry Richardson tried to go low. Ryan Barley tried to cut to the inside, didn't realize that Richardson was there. He gets hooked into the inside wall, spins back up the track, and Lattinger and Stewart were just bystanders there. Unfortunate breaks for them. And under this caution, we would see some more pit stops from GLOSSUM and Cortez there you see going in, but Michael Carter's going to stay out, along with Seth McGuire in the 6 car in 2nd. His teammate right behind him, Brad Curtis, in 3rd. A very quiet run for him as well. Ashton Short in 4th, and Nate Smith in the 83 car, restarting in the 5th spot. As Carter leads the field to the restart here on lap 56. His old ride helping him out here as Lester off the pace. Obviously not going to get off to as good of a start, and he's going to end up holding up 2nd on back at least a little bit. But Seth McGuire eventually makes his way underneath the 87 and will go to the inside of Carter a couple laps later to take the lead. Ashton Short's going to follow through the 2nd. Nate Smith looks poised to take 3rd. And eventually Ashton Short in the 19 is going to make a move on lap 61 underneath of his fellow rookie Seth McGuire, but can't quite complete the pass there. Jalen Scransen in this 26 car, returning from injury, is running in 4th right now, having a solid run in what could possibly be his final run with Shotier Motorsports. And he's been kind of a mainstay in the series in this 26 ride, but it is not certain, honestly not likely, that he'll be back in that 26 car for 2019, as Ashton Short goes back to the lead. Seth McGuire goes underneath him, but it'll be very interesting to see where Scransen lands, as he's obviously going to be one of the bigger free agents in this upcoming off-season. So, and Wayne Saunders just won the ANS championship as well. So that team has some interesting decisions to make. Sean GLOSSUM in the 27 is going to go to the lead for a little bit here underneath of McGuire, as Carson Crompton finally looking to make some progress. He goes underneath of his co-team owner Nate Smith for the 15th spot, and now he's going to face some pressure from Jack Jefferson in the 52, as Bo Phillips goes a lap down in the 15 car here on lap number 76, as Jonathan Ringer is going to go to the inside and take the lead. As a result, Sean GLOSSUM getting held up just a little bit. Tipson goes to 2nd. Sorry, as Chris Morissette in the 92 running 7th, having a solid run, the only representative of Porter Racing Corporation this week, as feels like we've said a lot over the course of this season, especially lately, as Sean GLOSSUM now underneath of Tipson to the lead on lap 82. Very next lap, Jordan Tipson in the 18, trying to make his case for Show TA and heck any AERS team to swoop him up, trying to get underneath of Tipson, or get underneath of GLOSSUM for the lead, as Casey Lester looks like he's going to help him out, holding up the 27 just a little bit, not exactly by choice. Tipson goes to the lead for a little bit. Steven Cortez in the 96, trying to go underneath Tipson, and obviously his situation at Show TA rather questionable. As I mentioned, that Wayne Saunders won the AAA National Series title, so he is highly rumored to be going to that 18 car next season, but time will tell the story there. Ashton Short underneath of Tipson for second. Looks like he's going to make it a Sam Davis Racing 1-2. We've seen that a couple times. Some very strong runs throughout this 2018 season from those two rookies. As Sean GLOSSUM now underneath Tipson after the 18 car goes back to the lead. This TGI Fridays machine have to be one of my personal favorite schemes in this series. But the pilot for next season obviously unknown. So you've got Tyler Deefer in the 20 machine, who has kind of fallen off as this run has gone on. Not sure if it's tires, not sure if it's handling. Rumors were that he had a little bit of damage done to his car through pit stops that cameras didn't quite pick up. As Zach McRae goes to the lead here on lap number 99, as we've got a halfway update on your points contenders. Michael Carter running 10th, Carson CROMPTON running 13th, Kane Dwyer just behind him in 14th. Tommy Richer, like his teammate Deefer, has kind of fallen off as the run's gone on. He's in 21st, and Tyler Deefer running 24th. So as it stands right now, it's Carson CROMPTON's championship, but we obviously have 100 more laps to determine if that'll be the case. As Jonathan Ringer going to go back to the lead once again with the help of lap traffic. This time Bo Phillips is going to get in the way, and he ends up holding up his teammate there just a little bit. Sean GLOSSUM is going to move through to second. Looks like Ashton Short is going to also go through to third. And Bo Phillips moving to the outside here. Looks like he's learned from his endeavors in the spring at this racetrack, getting in the way, causing an accident as a lap car. And he's certainly learned how to better accommodate for your lead lap compatriots, I suppose. As Sean GLOSSUM moving underneath Jonathan Ringer for the lead. We would have a debris caution on lap number 109, and it caused a bit of confusion as cameras didn't really pick it up, but it was from from a car that was involved in an earlier accident. As we would have most of the field coming down to take pit stops, so strategy rather even keel across the field here. As Michael Carter and Carson CROMPTON going to restart 5th and 6th. Kane Dwyer in 15th. Tommy Richer in 19th. And Tyler Deefer back in 24th. So pit crew kind of setting him back a little bit. But restart here on lap number 115 with Sean GLOSSUM leading the field to the green flag. Pat McKenzie on the inside holding up Zach McRae just a little bit. That's going to allow GLOSSUM to try and work his way forward. Carson CROMPTON and Ryan Bartley with some contact right there. That could have been huge. Oh, Jalen Scransen and Jack Jefferson in the 52. Let's go on board with Scransen. Looks like he just got a little bit too close to the 52. And, luckily didn't turn the 52 to the inside there. However, Jerry Richardson is going to turn the 52 to the inside into the pit lane. So that's a bit ironic, and the 52 decides, hey, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to go off strategy, I suppose, after everyone just pit, but he's going to take right side tires, perhaps repair some of the damage that he just sustained, and go off and away. We're going to take another look at that one, though, as Bo Phillips gets hooked by the 54 Richmond down into Greg Nee and Jack Jefferson. Ironically, his two teammates, he owns those two cars. So I guess we're going back to Bristol and Jerry Richardson Motorsports employing Teamwork 101 as Zach McRae in the lead here on lap number 117, but Jonathan Ringer being pushed by his teammate Michael Carter to the top spot. And the next lap, we've got Carter hounding the back bumper of Ringer. And these two of the elder statesmen of the series kind of compared to some of the younger guns, at least. You can call them elder statesmen, I suppose. But Carter looking underneath his teammate to the lead, lap 119. Michael Carter to the top spot. Can he defend his title successfully in this 39 car? He's trying his best here as he's going to bring Jordan Tipson through to the second spot. And Michael Carter trying to hang on here, trying to fight back on the outside, but it looks like Tipson's going to cement his place at the top of the leaderboards, at least for a little while. But Carter, ever resilient, back underneath the 18, and he's going to go back to the lead on lap number 127. Lap 130, a few laps after that, Zach McCrae back to the top spot in the 5 car. He's been knocking on the door for his first win. It's only a matter of time before he gets it. Carson Crompton, however, is going to make it 3 wide for the lead on lap 131. Incredible move there. Bit of bravery on the part of the 88. Oh, Tyler Deefer gets into Chad Lipinski. 88 goes around into the wall. Caution number 5 on lap 133. That could have been a bigger incident than it was. Herb Cilantro right there, narrowly missing Lipinski there. We're gonna go on board with him. Whoo, man, inches, just ever so slightly, ever so close to piling into that one. That could have been the end of the day for both of those cars. Carson Crompton leads the field into the pits. He's going to lead them back out. So Carter would come out in second. Oh, we've got Aaron Anderson and Ashton Shorty gets into Kane Dwyer, so that's stalled the 10 car out of Kane Dwyer. That's going to cost him a bit of time. Thankfully, not as much as it could have, but pit road miscue, not of Dwyer's fault, is going to set him back to the 25th spot in the field. Tyler Deefer is going to restart in 11th. Tommy Richer was right behind him in 12th, as Carson Crompton leads the field to the restart back on lap 139 with Michael Carter right behind him. So that's exactly what the 39 doesn't want to see, is the 84 car up in front of him. Carter trying to dispatch Crompton here on lap number 142. Looks like he's going to be successful in that, as McCrae and McGuire working just behind them. McGuire's going to follow through to second, and doing his teammate a lot of good, at least for now, but not once they get down to turns 3 and 4, as he goes underneath of Carter to take the lead for himself in the 6 machine. I guess saying to Carter, if you want this championship, you're going to have to earn it, which, I mean, I guess is a good message to send. You don't want to just hand titles to anybody. As Tyler Deefer back up inside the top 5 now, back up into the mix to contend for the lead, contend for the win, and contend for this championship as he goes underneath of Jordan Tipson here. Title contenders running 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Now Michael Carter's going to go to the lead. Deefer's going to follow suit. And that 20 team just will not go away. No matter what kind of obstacles you seem to throw at him, he's always seemed to come back and get back up to the top flight step. Lap 157, here he is, back up at the top of the leaderboards, but Sean GLOSSUM in the 27. Looks like he's going to challenge him here, but Deefer gets another lap led. But GLOSSUM so far and away has most laps led on the day. And it doesn't look like that's going to be changing as the 27 goes through to the lead on lap 158. And Tipson, however, in the 18 car, back on lap 163. We're under 50 laps to go now, as Tyler Deefer gets a nice run at a turn number 4, goes through past Sean GLOSSUM, and he's going to go underneath Jordan Tipson in the 18 car through turns 1 and 2 to go to the lead on lap 164 as the laps continue to wind down. So you've got Scransen now in the mix in this 26 machine. He's trying to give a good send-off. He's going to get some help from his teammate here to go to the lead. Bo Phillips, well, he's being a little bit more impeding of a back marker, but he's helping out his teammate. But Casey Lester's going to undo all of that. Now he goes to the bottom to hold up Sean GLOSSUM a little bit. I guess he's trying to even that out. I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to do there. But Michael Carter's going to cycle through to the lead, trying to win this title. Gets the lead here on lap number 171, and there's Chad Lipinski just in front of him, about to go a lap down, as he's damaged from the earlier incident with Tyler Deefer. We're going to have to look out, See if the 88 holds up the 20 at all. But it doesn't appear that Lipinski will do that. And here's Lipinski's replacement going through to the lead, Jordan Tipton. Tommy Richards back up into the top 3 here, or going to be in the top 3 after having a rather pedestrian day. Jimmy Cohone in the 33 is up to second now in the closing stages. Can he potentially get a win here for this 33 team? That would be something. If Jimmy Cohone were to pull it out for CARSON Racing. But eventually he's going to get shuffled out. Seth McGuire goes to the lead here on lap number 186. Underneath 15 laps to go in the 2018 season. Who will take home the win, and who, more importantly, who will take home the championship? Tyler Deefer trying to make his case. 10 laps to go. Goes underneath of Seth McGuire to take the lead. Chris Morissette about to go a lap down. Deefer will not go away. Carson Crompton just behind him. He's the big target that everyone's got to worry about. The 84 car. Because if he finishes ahead, pretty much if he finishes inside the top 10, he's got the championship locked up. As he goes underneath Tyler Deefer here on lap number 191. Under 10 to go. Carson Crompton's put himself in fantastic positions all season long. Has gotten himself a couple wins as a result. Jimmy Cohone just behind him. He's still alive in that 33 car. So Cohone still contending up here for a win. Sean GLOSSUM, however, resurfaces in this 27 machine on lap number 196 this time. So under 5 to go now. Or at least he tried to right there. Couldn't quite make it happen. Contact between McRae and Tyler Deefer there. All of these guys trying desperately to get some momentum. Deefer gets shuffled out to the high side by his teammate, though. Tommy Richard with a long shot. At this point, he's only hurting his teammate. Carson Crompton now getting held up by the 87 of Lester. And the 27 of GLOSSUM goes through to the lead. Crompton doesn't necessarily have to win. He just has to be here. Be up inside the top 5 in the top 10. And just coast through. He gets underneath the 87 here. As Tyler Deefer goes through to second. Or third, excuse me. Maybe trying to make it 3 wide for the lead. Can't quite do it yet. As Sean GLOSSUM takes the white flag in the 27. Tyler Deefer trying to get whatever points that he can. Just doesn't quite look like it. The 27 has easily been the strongest car all day. And the strongest car will come away with the win out of turn number 4. Sean GLOSSUM for Sauer Enterprises takes home the Amp Energy Finale 200 here in Livonia over Tyler D for second place. Just doesn't quite seem enough. Carson Crompton's in the back there. Looks like he will get a top 10 finish. He finishes in 9th. And Carson Crompton is your 2018 Amp Energy Racing Series champion for this season. And what has been perhaps ACS Racing's coming out party, as Nate Smith obviously with a fantastic run in 2014, but this season for that entire team across the board has been phenomenal. And what a resurgence from Sauer Enterprises late in the going. Sean GLOSSUM carries this team to victory here in Livonia. It certainly doesn't seem like he's forgotten how to do burnouts. Carson Crompton certainly hasn't, as he does celebratory donuts on the front stretch. As he said that he would quote-unquote, avenge Nate Smith's title loss in 2014, and he has successfully done so. So congratulations to both Sean GLOSSUM and Carson Crompton. As we take a look at the results here, GLOSSUM with the win, Tyler Deefer second with laps led. GLOSSUM, it just can't be understated how much of a turnaround that this must be for Sauer Enterprises, how much of a pick-me-up this is for that team. Jalen Scransen on return finishes third in the 26 machine. I would call that a good send-off to Show TA if this is indeed his last race for them. Zach McRae in fourth. Hasn't quite gotten that first win, but he is knocking on the door. He's going to get himself one of those. Seth McGuire looks to be poised to do the same as he comes home with another top 5 in that 6 machine. Tommy Richard in 6th. Just the odds were just too much for him to overcome, but still a very good season nonetheless for Tommy Richard. Jimmy Cohone with a strong top 10 finish in 7th. Jordan Tipton in 8th. certainly made a case for why he should be considered for a ride over the course of this year. CROMPTON finishes in 9th and looks to be locking up the championship in that 84 car, or did lock up the championship. Michael Carter finishes with the top 10, but it's got to be kind of bittersweet, as he also announced that 2019 will be his final season of full-time competition. He will be retiring after 2019, and Carter looked to add a second championship to his collection, but unfortunately looks like that's going to have to wait until next year if it's going to happen. But admirable performance by all of the title contenders and SHAWN GLOSSUM and several of these established AERS drivers. Hats off to everybody involved in this title fight. And now taking a look at the final driver standings, CROMPTON with 2,034 points on the year. Just an immaculate performance by the 84 team, despite the ups and downs on occasion that plagued this team, as he finishes 19 points over Tyler Deefer, who did just about everything he had to do this weekend, but the 84 simply was just too strong and made up enough points for himself to secure the title. Michael Carter 75 markers back. He lost 8 points to CROMPTON, finished directly behind him in the race, as I mentioned. CROMPTON 9th, Carter 10th. Kane Dwyer finished 130 points behind. That pit incident effectively took him out of contention late in the going. And Tommy Richter gained some spots. He did finish ahead of CROMPTON, but it was going to be a massive long shot for that 2-car to even have a chance, and obviously didn't gain any spots in the standings. He still finished in 5th, so I suppose it was inconsequential for that 2-car. But there are 3 Richter Racing cars inside the top 10. Clyde Lattinger 6th in the 34 car, 320 points behind. Nate Smith in the 83 car, 7th, just 2 points behind Lattinger, and what could have been for that 83 car if not for a couple mishaps along the way, especially, I guess, notably the Road America incident with Jimmy Cohone that really set that 83 team back. So he comes home in 7th in the title fight. Jonathan Ringer 8th, kind of the same deal with him. Had he not been caught up in various little incidents, maybe he could have been further up in the title fight, but who really knows? SHAWN GLOSSUM as well in the 9 car, or in the 9th spot. Formerly drove the 9 car. Just won this race. Obviously, it vaults him up to 9th in the standings. But he was plagued with some inconsistency at the start of the year with JN Motorsports, and he never really seemed to recover from it. At least not until the final couple of races in the season, when it was all too late. Madison Vermette caps off his rookie year with a top 10 finish in points, 357 markers behind CARSON CROMPTON. So overall, a solid year, I would say, for the rookie KGI driver. Now moving on to the rest of the points, at least 11th through 20th in the standings. Zach McRae in the 5 machine. I believe he really turned a lot of heads this season. Not a whole lot of people expected much from him in this 5 machine in his sophomore season, but he really impressed quite a few members of the garage area. Him and Kane Dwyer both, obviously, but he comes home in 11th, and you think just a little more luck here and not having such a bad break there. Who knows what this 5 car could have done? Maybe snuck in a couple wins as well. Casey Lester comes home in 12th, 382 markers back after missing 2 races. Won Val-d'Or, obviously, this season, but some bad luck here and there. Definitely knocked him down a few pegs in this 87 car. It's kind of weird to say that 12th is a bad result for Richter Racing, but he was the worst of them in the standings. Not necessarily his fault, but this 87 car certainly will be back next season in 2019 with a vengeance to contend once again. Ashton Short in the 13th spot in car 19. What a rookie year that it's been for him. Also kind of a tumultuous season, but he's certainly looking a lot better than people had projected him to be in this 19 machine. And boy, Sam Davids Racing has found money at this point with this young man in this number 19 Budweiser Chevy, and we can only be they can only be more excited for what's to come with this young driver. Greg Nee in the 53 car in 14th, and what a surprise effort it's been for this 53 bunch as well, the Jerry Richardson Motorsports group. As Jack Jefferson really turned a lot of heads as well, but his ceiling seems to kind of already be hit, whereas Greg Nee is a little bit younger. He's spent a lot of time developing, and he really seems to be the guy that Jerry Richardson Motorsports has been kind of gathering around in terms of their future. So it'll be interesting to see how Greg Nee continues to progress as time goes on with this team. Jalen Scransen 15th after missing several races. He definitely could have been a top 10 driver had injuries not plagued him, and bad luck as well in this 26 machine. As we mentioned, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up next season. Bo Phillips right behind him in 16th in points in that 15 machine. The short track ace, 584 markers back, the Connecticut native, going to be up back with this 15 team for a few years. So it'll be exciting to see how Phillips progresses over time in the 15 machine. Jared Cash in 17th. He was suspended for this race. I don't believe I mentioned that earlier on, but he was suspended after his questionable driving last week at Chicago. So he sat out for this race. He dropped down to 17th, and his status with this team is somewhat unknown. His contract is up at the end of 2019, but Cash hasn't really been impressing lately, so we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Jordan Tipson likely to land a ride somewhere, if not in the AERS, probably a reserve role or an ANS deal somewhere. But Jordan Tipson certainly showing that he's capable of driving these AERS cars, and he's certainly capable of producing good results in this 18 machine. So big question mark as to where he'll end up next season, but I'm sure that he will find a place somewhere. Ike Durbin, very quiet 19th, really kind of sums up his off-track endeavors as well in the 86. Very mum as far as press releases go. Just kind of says his mandatory stuff and is off on his way. But 19th, definitely not a bad result for the 86 crew. And Chad Lipinski with his win. One of the few bright spots that 88 team has had. 744 markers back. He rounds out the top 20 in points. So that does it. This wraps up the 2018 season of the American Automobile Racing Organization. Thank you to everybody who has watched, who has liked, who has subscribed, who has given any sort of input to this. It has really been an honor. It's been a joy for me to provide the commentary to you guys. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again. So thank you all so much for watching. For everybody here at RPM TV, I'm Robert Carell, and I'll see you next year.